Hi, everyone. Technological advancement presents ethical dilemmas such as AI bias, privacy concerns, and the challenge of balancing innovation with ethical considerations. Today's podcast is about ethical dilemmas in technological advancement. Stay tuned and stay safe.
Okay, so today we're going deep on the dark side of all this new tech, all this innovation.
Yeah.
We've got research, articles, even some historical stuff to dig into some of those ethical questions
Right?
that we don't always think about.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the shiny new.
Right, exactly.
But then the ethics kind of lag behind.
Yeah, and we're seeing that play out with AI bias in a big way.
Definitely.
And it's not, some theoretical thing.
Right.
This is impacting real systems we use every day.
Every single day. Yeah.
Hiring, loans, even criminal justice algorithms are using AI.
Mm-hmm.
And the results, well, sometimes they're really worrying.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, remember that Amazon thing with the AI recruitment tool
Oh, yeah.
that ended up penalizing women?
Yeah, it was trained on like a decade of data, mostly male hires.
Right.
And it basically, it learned to associate successful with male.
It's kind of scary how that bias can just creep in,
It really is.
even when no one's setting out to discriminate.
Yeah, and it's not just hiring either.
Right.
Facial recognition is a big one.
Oh, yeah.
NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology, they found that those systems, they're way more likely to misidentify Black and Asian faces.
It's a huge issue, especially when you think about law enforcement using it.
Absolutely. Massive implications.
It's like we're taking the biases that already exist in society
Mm-hmm.
and amplifying them through technology.
Yeah, it's a scary thought, right?
It really makes you wonder, like, what are the consequences for people
Yeah.
whose lives are being affected by these flawed systems?
The consequences can be huge.
Wow.
We're talking about racial profiling, wrongful arrests.
Wow.
Further marginalizing communities that are already struggling.
Yeah.
It's a real wake-up call, this technology. It's not neutral.
Right.
It reflects, the values, the biases.
Of the people who create it.
Exactly. And the data it's trained on.
Okay, so what can we even do about it? Can we actually create AI that's fair, unbiased?
It's a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
But there are things we can do.
Okay.
I mean, one thing is the data.
The data itself.
Yeah, making sure it's diverse, representative.
Of everyone, not just a subset.
Exactly. So the AI isn't just learning from a narrow slice of society.
Makes sense.
And then testing, constant testing, audits, all of that.
To catch those biases.
Yeah, and accountability, we need mechanisms for that.
So that someone's responsible
Exactly.
if things go wrong.
But maybe the most important thing, it's a mindset shift.
Okay, Leanne.
In the tech industry, we've got to stop treating ethics like an afterthought.
Yeah, like a box to check.
Exactly. It needs to be baked in from the start.
Like from day one of development.
Right, from day one.
Yeah, it feels like we need to move away from that move fast and break things mentality.
Oh, absolutely.
And be more thoughtful.
More deliberate, yeah.
About how these innovations impact society.
Exactly. Move thoughtfully and build things that benefit everyone.
I like that.
But it's not just AI bias we need to worry about.
No, right.
The other big issue is data privacy.
Yeah. Are we even people anymore or just products?
It's a valid question these days.
I mean, look at Cambridge Analytica.
Oh, yeah.
Millions of Facebook profiles harvested without consent.
Used for political ads? It's crazy.
It's like the price for all these free services is our privacy.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes that price is way higher than we realize. It's like Shoshana Zuboff calls it surveillance capitalism.
Surveillance capitalism?
Yeah, like every click, every search, it's tracked, analyzed, sold.
It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
It is, yeah.
Like we're constantly being watched.
It's that digital panopticon.
Yeah. And I read that the Identity Theft Resource Center, they said there were over 1,800 data breaches last year.
In the U.S. alone.
Yeah, exposing hundreds of millions of records.
It's mind-boggling.
It really is. It's like, how do we even balance
Yeah.
the good stuff, the convenience of all this technology
Mm-hmm.
with protecting our privacy and, just being human?
It's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, because we can't just unplug.
No, not really.
So what can we do? Is it even possible to use the internet
Right.
without leaving a trail of data everywhere?
That's the tricky part, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no easy answer, that's for sure.
Okay.
But I think just being aware of how your data is being used, that's a good start.
So, like, actually reading those privacy policies.
Yeah, and just being mindful of what you share online.
Okay, so being more careful.
Yeah, and there are privacy-focused tools and services.
Right, like VPNs and stuff.
Exactly, and browsers, and even just changing your settings on social media.
It's like we need to be more savvy online
Informed, yeah.
about our rights and all that.
Absolutely. And it can feel daunting, all this.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any signs that things might get better?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good.
There's a lot more awareness now of these issues.
Yeah, I think so.
And we are seeing some positive stuff happening.
Like what?
Well, like the EU's GDPR, for example.
The General Data Protection Regulation.
Right. It's set a higher bar for data privacy. It's
Yeah.
pushing companies to be more transparent.
So we actually know what they're doing with our data.
Exactly. And giving people more control over their own information.
So regulations like that are a good sign.
They are, yeah.
What about the tech industry itself, though?
Mm.
Are there any companies that are, like, really trying to do the right thing?
There are actually some good examples out there.
Oh, okay.
IBM, for instance, they've developed a whole set of AI ethics principles
Oh, wow.
focused on things like transparency, fairness, making sure AI is explainable, accountable.
So they're not just saying they care about ethics?
No, they're actually taking steps.
Yeah, but what does that actually look like?
Well, one interesting thing they're doing is this explainable AI.
Explainable AI. What's that?
It's about building AI systems that can actually explain their decisions.
To humans, you mean?
Yeah, so you don't just get a yes or no from an algorithm. You
Right.
can see how it got there.
Well, that's interesting.
It's about building trust,
Yeah, because that black box element of AI it's unsettling.
It is. It feels very disempowering.
Totally.
So explainable AI, it's about making those systems more understandable.
More accountable.
Exactly.
And it's not just IBM, right?
No, there are a bunch of startups
Okay.
focused on privacy-enhancing technologies.
Like what?
There's this company called Differential Privacy.
Okay.
They have tools that let companies analyze data
Hmm.
without actually seeing the raw data itself.
Wait, how is that even possible?
It's pretty cool, actually. They add, like, statistical noise to the data,
Uh-huh.
so you can still get insights, but you can't identify individuals.
Oh, that's really clever.
It is. It's like looking at a blurry picture.
Right.
You get the general idea, but you can't make out the details.
So it sounds like this whole movement toward ethical tech.
Mm-hmm.
We're just at the beginning,
Yeah, and there's so much potential.
but it's going to take a lot of work.
A collective effort, that's for sure.
Yeah, like we all need to be involved
We do. Tech companies, policymakers, individuals, everyone.
to make sure technology benefits everyone, not just a few.
Absolutely.
It's like we're all in this together, shaping the future.
We are. We really are.
And speaking of shaping the future,
Mm.
what are some of the other things
Mm-hmm.
we should be thinking about ethically when it comes to tech?
Well, one area that really worries me is AI in warfare.
Oh, wow.
These autonomous weapons systems, killer robots.
That sounds like something out of a movie.
I know, right?
Is that really something we need to worry about now?
It's not science fiction anymore.
Really?
These things are being developed right now.
Wow.
And there's a lot of debate about whether they should be banned.
Because they could be really dangerous.
They could, yeah.
Yeah.
Escalating conflicts, unintended consequences.
It's scary to think about a machine deciding to take a human life.
It is, yeah. And what if it malfunctions?
Right. Who's responsible then?
Exactly. It's a huge ethical minefield.
It is, yeah.
And beyond killer robots, there's the impact of AI on jobs.
Oh, yeah. Robots taking our jobs.
Yeah. It's a legitimate concern.
But some people say it'll create more jobs.
Some do, but others say it'll lead to mass unemployment.
So it's not just about robots on assembly lines.
No, it's white-collar jobs, creative jobs, even decision-making jobs.
Yeah, and it could make inequality even worse.
If the benefits of AI aren't shared fairly, absolutely.
Right. It's not a guarantee that tech progress means societal progress.
We have to be very deliberate about how we develop and use these technologies.
So everyone benefits.
Exactly. Not just a select few.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But it's also, I don't know, it's kind of empowering too.
How so?
Like we actually have a say in this,
We do, yeah.
in shaping the future of technology.
Absolutely. The choices we make today, the conversations we have, they really do. It's a responsibility we can't ignore.
So as we're navigating all of this, what are some things our listeners can do to make sure tech is used for good?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed.
Educate ourselves.
Yeah, read articles, listen to podcasts like this one,
Right.
have discussions, challenge assumptions.
Okay, knowledge is power.
It really is.
Yeah.
Advocate for change, you know.
Support organizations, write to our representatives, that kind of thing.
Exactly. We need to demand better from the tech industry.
And from policymakers.
Or from ourselves.
So being active citizens, basically.
Cool in this digital age.
Understanding our rights, holding people accountable.
It all makes a difference.
And what about on a personal level? What can we do in our own digital lives?
Well, think about the companies you support.
Right.
Choose the ones that align with your values. Prioritize privacy and security.
Okay, so be conscious consumers.
Yeah, and be mindful of your own data footprint.
What you share, what you click on.
Exactly, and don't just blindly click agree.
Oh yeah, those terms and conditions.
Yeah, read them, understand what you're agreeing to.
And maybe opt out sometimes.
Or demand better, yeah.
It's about taking back some control.
Absolutely, reclaiming our agency in this digital world.
Making choices that reflect what we believe in.
Exactly, and maybe, just maybe, those individual actions, they can inspire others.
To the grain.
And ultimately contribute to a more ethical tech future.
I like that. It's hopeful.
It is. It's a reminder that we're not powerless.
Right. We have more power than we think.
We do, and the future isn't predetermined.
It's something we create.
Exactly, collectively.
And we can create a future that reflects our values.
A future where technology serves humanity.
Not the other way around.
Exactly.
Well, this has been really insightful. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has gotten you thinking.
Made you curious.
About the ethical side of technology.
And how you can make a difference.
Because we all have a role to play in this.
We do.
In shaping a more ethical and equitable tech future.
Absolutely. The future is in our hands.
Let's build it wisely.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It is a tricky balance.
It is. But are there any, like, glimmers of hope out there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Like, are there any positive trends that suggest we might be moving toward a more, I don't know, ethical and privacy-conscious digital future?
For sure. I think the biggest thing is just the awareness. Like, people are actually talking about this stuff now.
Yeah, it's not just like tech nerds in a corner anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's becoming mainstream.
And are there any, like, actual changes happening?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean, look at the EU's GDPR.
The General Data Protection Regulation, right?
Right. That's, it's set a much higher bar for data privacy.
Okay, so it's forcing companies to actually do something.
Yeah, they have to be more transparent now.
So we know what's going on with our data.
Exactly. And it gives people more control over their own information.
So that's a good sign.
It is. It's a step in the right direction.
Okay, but what about the tech companies themselves? Are there any companies that are, like, really trying to put ethics and privacy first?
There are some, yeah.
Okay, who are the good guys?
Well, IBM is one.
IBM. Really?
Yeah, they've actually developed this whole set of AI ethics principles.
Wow.
Focused on transparency, fairness, all that stuff.
So they're not just, like, talking the talk.
No, they're walking the walk.
Yeah, but what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, one really cool thing they're doing is this concept of explainable AI.
Explainable AI. Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's all about building AI systems that can actually explain their decisions in a way that humans can understand.
So instead of just getting a yes or no from the algorithm?
Yeah.
You can see how it got there?
Exactly. It's all about transparency.
I like that, because that whole black box thing with AI,
yeah,
it's so unsettling.
It's creepy, right?
It really is.
And it's disempowering. You have no idea how these decisions are being made.
Totally. So explainable AI, it's about making those systems more accountable.
Exactly.
And it's not just IBM doing this stuff, right?
No, there are a bunch of startups popping up.
Okay.
Focused on this kind of thing. Privacy-enhancing technologies.
Give me an example. What kind of stuff are they doing?
Well, there's this company called Differential Privacy.
Differential Privacy, okay.
And they've got these tools that let companies analyze data without actually seeing the raw data itself.
Wait, what? How does that even work?
It's pretty ingenious, actually.
Go tell me more.
They add, like, a layer of statistical noise to the data. So it protects individual privacy, but you can still get insights at the aggregate level.
So it's like you can see the big picture, but not the individual details.
Exactly, like looking at a blurry picture. You can see the shapes, but not the faces.
That's really cool. I mean, It's amazing how creative people are getting
It is.
with these solutions.
Yes, encourages.
So it sounds like we're just at the tip of the iceberg with this whole ethical tech thing.
We are. There's so much potential here.
Yeah, but it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort.
A collective effort, for sure.
Yeah, from everyone, not just the tech companies.
Right. We all have a part to play.
Tech companies, policymakers, researchers, even just everyday people.
Absolutely. It's a societal shift.
And it makes me think, what are some of the other areas where we need to be thinking about ethics and technology?
Well, one area that's really concerning to me is AI in warfare.
Oh, wow.
The development of these autonomous weapons systems.
Killer robots, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That sounds terrifying.
It is. It's a scary thought.
Is that really something we need to be worried about right now?
It's not science fiction anymore.
Really?
These things are being developed as we speak. Wow.
And there's a big debate about whether they should be banned outright.
Because they could escalate conflicts, lead to all sorts of unintended consequences.
Exactly. And it raises some really tough ethical questions.
Like, who gets to decide when it's okay for a machine to take a human life?
It's a huge moral dilemma.
And what happens if one of these things malfunctions?
Right. Who's responsible then?
It's a minefield.
It is, yeah.
And beyond killer robots, there's the whole issue of AI and jobs.
Right. The classic fear of robots taking over.
Is this something we should actually be worried about?
It's a legitimate concern, for sure.
But some people say AI will create more jobs than it destroys.
Some do, yeah, but others warn of widespread unemployment.
So it's not just blue-collar jobs we're talking about here.
No, it's white-collar jobs, too.
Oh,
Creative jobs, even jobs that require complex decision-making.
And it could really widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
If the benefits of AI aren't distributed fairly, absolutely.
It's a reminder that technological progress doesn't automatically equal societal progress. Exactly. We have to be very intentional about how we develop and use these technologies.
Make sure they benefit everyone, not just a select few.
Right, and that's going to require a lot of thought, a lot of careful planning.
It's a huge challenge.
It is, but it's a challenge we have to face head on.
Because the stakes are high.
They are. The future of our society is at stake.
So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that we're not powerless.
We have a say in this.
We absolutely do. The choices we make today,
Yeah.
they will shape the future of technology.
And the future of our society.
Exactly. So we need to be informed. We need to be engaged.
We need to be active participants in this whole process.
Absolutely. And we need to demand better from the tech industry, from policymakers, from ourselves.
It's about taking responsibility, right?
It is taking responsibility for the future we're creating.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface here.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
It is, and it's a lot to take in.
Definitely.
But, amidst all these challenges, I'm also feeling, I don't know, a bit of optimism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like it seems like more people are aware of these ethical issues now.
I think you're right.
And more people are asking those tough questions.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
It is. But, with technology moving so fast, how do we make sure the ethics keep up?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And there's no easy answer, but one thing's for sure.
Right.
We need more diversity in tech.
More diversity, okay.
Yeah, in who's designing and building these systems.
Because right now it's pretty homogenous.
It is, yeah. And that's part of the problem.
So if the people creating the technology don't represent everyone, they might not see those potential biases or unintended consequences.
Exactly. It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone.
But if you want to go far, go together.
Exactly. We need those different perspectives, those lived experiences.
To guide us in the right direction.
Exactly. And it's not just about demographics either.
Right.
It's diversity of thought, of discipline.
Like we need more than just engineers at the table.
Absolutely. We need ethicists, sociologists, philosophers, artists.
Wow, a whole team.
We need people who can bring different lenses to these issues.
So we're not just looking at it from a purely technical perspective.
Right. We need that holistic view, the human impact.
And that requires a shift in mindset, right?
It does, yeah.
Not just in the tech industry, but in society as a whole.
We need to start thinking about ethics as a core part of technology.
Not just something we tack on at the end.
Exactly. It needs to be baked into the DNA of these technologies.
From the very beginning.
From day one, yeah.
And that's going to take a lot of collaboration.
It will, yeah.
Between tech companies, policymakers, researchers, everyone.
All of us working together, yeah.
So what can our listeners do to be part of this effort?
Well, like we said, staying informed is key.
educate ourselves.
Yeah, read, listen, engage in those critical discussions.
Don't be afraid to challenge assumptions.
Exactly, and don't underestimate the power of your voice.
Our voice. Okay.
Yeah, talk to your friends, your family, your representatives.
Make some noise
Exactly. The more we raise awareness, the more pressure we put on those in power.
to actually do something.
Right, to prioritize these ethical considerations.
So it's about being engaged citizens.
Yeah, advocating for change, holding people accountable.
What about in our own lives, though?
Mm-hmm.
Like, digitally speaking, what can we do?
We'll support companies that align with your values.
Okay, so put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah, choose products and services that prioritize privacy, security.
Be mindful of our own data footprint.
Exactly, and don't just blindly click agree.
Oh, yeah. Those terms and conditions.
Read them, understand what you're consenting to,
And maybe opt out.
or demand better.
It's about taking back control, making conscious choices.
And maybe those individual actions, they can have a ripple effect.
Inspire others to do the same.
And ultimately contribute to a more ethical tech future.
I like that it's like even small actions can make a difference.
They can, yeah.
It's a reminder that we're not just passive bystanders in all of this.
We're not. We have the power to shape the future.
Collectively.
Exactly. We can create a future that reflects our values.
Well, on that note of empowerment and collective action,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive
Yeah.
into the dark side of innovation.
It's been a heavy topic, but important.
It has, but I think we've also uncovered some solutions, some reasons for hope.
Definitely. There's a lot of work to do, but there's also a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's not all doom and gloom.
Not at all.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
It's been a privilege to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive
Mm-hmm.
has sparked your curiosity
Gotcha thinking.
about the ethical side of technology.
And how you can be part of the solution.
Because we all have a role to play in this,
We do.
in shaping a more ethical and equitable tech future.
Absolutely. The future is in our hands.
Let's build it wisely.
Let's do it.